Answering your questions about retirement. It's Money Talk with Michael Eastham.
Can you talk about long-term care, please? I'm concerned that some health issue for me or my husband could cause us to go broke in retirement. What are some things to consider?
Long-term care can be one of those tricky conversations to have. First of all, nobody really wants to talk about having to go into convalescent care or assisted living. But you do, again, when it comes to retirement planning, that's a very important element because a lot of people have significant issues in retirement, and it doesn't always tend to happen when you're in your 60s or 70s. It's going to happen when you're in your late 70s, maybe mid 80s, and that is what you need to prepare for. So how do you do it? Well, there's a few different ways that you can think about it. One is you can expect the government to take care of you. That means you spend down all of your assets or the majority of your assets and you file for Medicaid, and they'll support you in a nursing home. But most of the conversations I have, people don't want to live in a nursing home based on the government supporting them. So that means you have a couple other options. Number one is that you can purchase long-term care insurance. And long-term care insurance in and of itself can be very tricky because there's a few different types of tools. One is just a traditional pay-as-you-go type of policy where you pay premiums for the rest of your life and kind of hope you never need it. Or there's a hybrid type of a policy where you can use either an insurance policy or an annuity to help fund a guaranteed long-term care policy kind of on the back end. Many of the insurance policies themselves have cash value that gets built up into the policies, and they have a living benefit that you can trigger in the event that you have a long-term care issue. So those can be two great tools. So we talked about two issues. We talked about Medicaid, the government. We talked about insurance policies, whether it's a traditional or a hybrid. And the third is to self-insure. And generally the way I look at this is if your investable assets are between, say, $500,000 and maybe $2 to $2.5 million, then maybe a long-term care policy could be something that you might want to look at. But if you're above that level, maybe $2 to $3 million, then it is possible that setting aside some assets to cover you for long-term care could be the best way to go. Self-insuring, in essence. It all depends on what your longevity is, what your family history is, and a number of other factors that we use to help determine how long-term care fits into your overall financial plan. So we'd be happy to chat with you in depth about it so that you can understand carefully the differences. But I've also done a webinar on long-term care, and I'd love to get a copy of that out to you. So just call our office and request a link to the long-term care webinar. We'll get that out to you right away so that you can kind of understand all the pieces and determine what might be a good next step for you. Hope that helps and look forward to talking with you soon.
If you've got a financial question you'd like to have answered, click on the link below to submit your question. You may hear your answer on an upcoming edition of Money Talk.